First of all, let's understand something. We're all participating in this thing called life. Life has ebb and flows, mountaintops, it's got valleys. This life, stop expecting it to go smooth. The road to success is always under construction. This life ain't set up to be smooth.
You don't get old without having suffered loss. Every year brings some sort of challenge with it. As you go along the way, you gain some things and you lose some things. You win some battles and you lose some battles.
It's not easy. It's hard changing your life. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself. Why did this have to happen to me?
Grief. No one escapes it. Not the rich, not the poor. There isn't a person listening to me who hasn't encountered grief. Maybe it was the loss of an opportunity. Maybe it was the slow disintegration of a relationship. It can affect your health. It can affect the next relationship you have because you really haven't gotten over your past relationship. How long? How long will you mourn? How long will you be bitter? How long will you be angry and walk around enraged? How long? God says, how long will you mourn over a door I have closed? A job that's gone? A girlfriend that left? A boyfriend that left? How long? How long will you be angry and build your whole life around something that is dead?
And wisdom develops in the life of those who have capitalized on their pain to draw conclusions. You can't just pray. You can't just stay in the same spot and do the same things that you've always done and expect to get a different result. You've got to take action. We walk away with praise to God, but absolve ourselves of human responsibility. God has created us to be collaborative in the miraculous. Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you get to pray for a job and stay at home. Jacob says, if you don't move, you're going to die. How could you let me die and I'm a child of God? You didn't move. See, we sit back and hate on people when it's not them having that is our enemy. It's us not moving that is. Somebody say, I'm on the road. I'm on the road to better. There's something I'm after. There's something I want to see done. I'm tired of complaining. I've got to move from here. And God says action is required on you. You got to get on the road.
There are some times in your life that you got to get up, wash your face, go on with your life. Life is too short for grieving over who didn't want you, the job you didn't get, the house that you didn't close on. How long? How long does it take to get over a person? How long will you put your future on hold, mulling over your past? You cannot spend the rest of your life grieving over who didn't love you. You're stuck. God did not create you to be stuck with a heart full of grief. How long will you mourn around the tomb of what didn't work out? You are not yourself. You were not created for this. God wants your nerves and cells and muscles to move. Somebody shout, move.
If you're going to reach your potential, you have to fight through some things. You have to be more determined than what's trying to stop you.
Whatever you're going through right now, don't lose sight of the fact that it's worth the fight. Nobody said it was easy. It's worth the fight.
Do whatever is required. It's difficult, yes, right, and it's worth it.
You don't come into this kind of blessing without conflict. And blessings are always encased in trouble. And it does not mean that you're not where God wants you to be because there are problems there. God means for it to be tough sometimes. He shapes us through the hands and the opinions of our enemies. You can't make a vessel made of clay and not put it in the fire. I came to tell somebody you're close. You're close. You're on the verge of it. Something is about to happen. The devil wouldn't be fighting. If you weren't close to it, somebody shout, I'm close.
We should live with this anticipation that something good is going to happen. Yes, we all have a reason to be sour. You wouldn't be alive if there wasn't something amazing in your future. If you're not expecting difficulties to turn around, thanking God that He's bringing promises to pass, then you're not releasing your faith. Well, Joel, I'm waiting for God to do something. Maybe God is waiting on you.
You combat negativity and you combat discouragement with gratitude. What messes you up is you focus on the thing that's not happening. People don't understand how serious gratitude is. You know, it's a serious. Principle of success. It's hard to be miserable and grateful at the same time. What has God done for you? Didn't you wake up today? Ain't you still breathing? Ain't you working? You may not have the car you want, but don't you have a car? You ain't homeless. Now, when you start tripping, you got to go into yourself and come up with some gratitude. You can't be discouraged and grateful at the same time.
Be thankful for what you've already got. Thanksgiving opens the doors and the channels to receive more than you have. For cynics, the channels are closed.
I'm telling you, it works. It works. Just try it.
Choose to be happy in spite of life's challenges. Douglas Matlock has a poem I love. He said, sure, this world is full of trouble. Lord, I've had enough and double reason for complaint. Rain and storm have come to fret me. Skies are often gray. But say, ain't it fine today? It may rain again tomorrow. It may rain, but say, ain't it fine today?
Number one motivating thing for me, and I'm just being honest, was I was sick and tired of being poor. My mother was poor, my father was poor, my brothers and sisters were poor. I lived in a poor neighborhood, we lived in a poor house. And I would see, like at Christmas time, my father would put us in the car and take us out to the suburbs to see the Christmas lights. And I would see these big houses, man. I told my father, I said, Dad, I said, why don't we get one of these houses? He said, boy, I ain't got no money for this kind of house. He said, but if you work hard, you can make some money, you can buy you one of these houses. My motivation was to buy a big house so I could put up Christmas lights. And I've always dreamed of buying my mother and father a real house. And before they died, I was able to do all of that. You have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up.
Always go to something bigger than yourself. I'm wondering if you've been defeated
because you have been giving yourself wholly to something that was too small to hold you. Are you trying to take a bath in a bowl? Are you not guilty of immersing yourself into things that were too small to hold your vision?
Why you keep imagining buying a house? Why do you keep imagining getting rich one day? Why do you keep imagining that? Because God is talking to you. You got to start believing in your imagination. If you decide to be rich today, who gonna stop you? All you got to do is start. Unless you tell it to the wrong person. Mama, I'm going to be rich. Anybody rich in this family? Go in there and sit down somewhere. Get yourself a good job. Mama could be wrong. I'm sorry.
My problem is so many times you've thrown big ideas at small people. And you're trying to get your sight back from a source that's too small to support what you're willing to put in.
Listen, man, I don't care what you get a degree in. Until you follow your dream and connect it to your gift, you'll never be happy. You should go and live your dream. Your real life ain't in your present circumstance. Everything you imagine is a preview to a coming attraction. Once you understand that, it opens up a wide range of things and possibilities. This is serious what I'm telling you. That's why when you tell your imagination to the wrong people, it don't go nowhere. Because God didn't put it in their imagination. He put it in your imagination. If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. All my brothers, everybody told me, you can't go be no comedian. Everybody in my neighborhood called me a fool. All my friends shot it down. My brothers and sisters shot it down. I left anyway. If I hadn't listened to them, I wouldn't even be here today.
Are you under the shade of what someone spoke over you? Told you what you couldn't do? Do you have friends that are blocking your growth? Remove what's blocking your growth and you'll begin to blossom.
The biggest struggle for me was my family, man. The people closest to me was the biggest struggle. Every time I went out to do another deal, everybody told me, you don't need to do that, man. They're putting mental pressure on the brakes when you're trying to accelerate.
You have to put your foot down and say, no thanks. I'm not living under that shade. Start believing again. Start dreaming again. If you want to know what you're going to be like in 5 years, look. Look at your friends. You need people that bring out the best in you. And too often, we don't realize who we are. We're letting negative voices convince us that we're limited. Where you are is not your destiny. You can come out of the fear. Anytime we try to move forward, there are people telling us what we can't do. It may not have happened for them, but you're a mighty hero. It's going to happen for you.
What I'm doing now, I could have been doing years ago. But because I allowed other people's opinion of me to control my destiny, I didn't act on my ideas. It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life, people who don't want anything, people who have stopped. Dreaming. It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life. You have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself. It's also necessary that you look for ways to find a way to pull it out when everybody else thinks that you are defeated. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. It's very important for you to believe that you are the one. I used to ask myself, can I do this? And something said within me, you're the one. You're the one.
You meet somebody wealthy Their family at one point was not wealthy. And then the one shows up. One person changes the family tree forever. In my family, I'm the one. I want to fight for my family. I want my mom and dad proud of me. I want me proud of me. That's what I want for you. I want you to be happy with you, not cool. You want to win? You want to be a millionaire? You got to quit being so casual. Wake up, brother. If you make a couple of these adjustments, man, you could change your life. It might be year 2, 3, 4 before you get your big win, but you could decide now, I'm going to walk, talk, and be a different person. But too many of you let what I call the extras of life dictate where you're going. Most people's dreams can be bought. With enough failure, they will sell their children's dreams. Most people will sell their will to win. Some of you have sold it because you're making a little bit of money. But if you decided my will can not be bought. I'm the one. I'm going to change my family tree forever.
Do you ever hear people say they are eager to live a better life? Eager to make a lot of money? Probably not. We've all heard people say, "Oh, I wish I could just drop 5 pounds." I'm also sure you've heard people talk about wishing they had more money. But before their lifestyle can change, their wish needs to become a desire. If I want a better life tomorrow, I need to start working on it today. If living a successful life was easy, I'm sure more people would be successful. Despite all the factors that affect our lives, none has as much potential power for doing good as the ability to dream. When we allow our dreams to pull us, they unleash a creative force that can overpower everything in our way. You've got to be a dreamer, and you've got to be willing to put yourself through the paces of doing the uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable.
You gotta chase that dream before you die, man.
Taking responsibility for your own life, taking responsibility for whatever happens to you, knowing that what is happening now, today, is the direct result of your activity, what you did yesterday. Self-reliance means counting on yourself, being confident with yourself, being responsible to yourself, taking the credit that is due you, learning from the mistakes that you have made, being self-reliant. By not being prepared, you make the choice of getting caught in some of life's unpleasant circumstances. By not being prepared, thinking ahead, it's your choice. By being prepared, you increase your chances of success, of seizing opportunities when they come your way. Some people tend to blame others for their mistakes, blame others for their failures. Now, you can't control what others around you do, but it's in your own best self-interest that you stay on top of things, especially if it's going to affect your future. Be responsible for the things that affect you. Now, my approach to my better future very early on in my career was to just go through the day with my fingers crossed. If you change, it'll all change. Don't put it on someone else. Take responsibility for yourself. You can't change the circumstances or the seasons or the wind, but you can change your reading habits. Multiply your value by 2, 3, 5, 10. That you have control of. And if you don't, that's your fault. You've got to be self-reliant. You. Nobody else can change your life, pave a golden road for you. But you can. Be responsible for yourself. Learn to reap the harvest without complaint. Take full responsibility. It's your crop. Whatever your paycheck is, take full responsibility. Whenever your preparations lead to success, you reinforce the disciplines that got you there. If what you're doing is working, keep doing it. If what you're doing isn't working, change it. Learning that there are rewards for doing something good. The better you do, the better your reward. A bigger paycheck, a better house. It's all a reward system. If what you are doing, the habits you've gotten into, are building your ambition and increasing your success, keep doing them. Your success tells you that you need to keep doing what you are doing. Now here's the other side. By reviewing your habits, you may find out that some of them are inhibiting your success. Or you may realize that you've gotten out of some very good habits. Somebody says, well, I used to read the books all the time. I've just gotten out of the habit. Then change it. Just get back into the habit. It's called discipline. You can wish for the wind not to blow quite as severely, to change in your favor, but we call that naive at best. Don't wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. I became a millionaire when I was 31, and I found it was easy. Now here's my definition of easy. It was something I could do. But here's a little parenthesis. I worked hard at it. I made sure I did all that I could. I found something that I could do, but I worked hard at it. But what I did was easy, meaning it was something I could do. Well, you say, Mr. Rohn, if it was so easy, how come all those other people around you didn't get rich? Here's why. It's easy not to. It's easy to keep doing the things that don't work. It's easy to keep bad habits. It's easy not to develop the disciplines. Here's a philosophical phrase. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. Here's the key formula for success. A few disciplines practiced every day. What should you spend your time doing? Don't waste your time on things that aren't going to matter. Now here's the formula for failure. Errors in judgment, repeated every day. I'm telling you, they'll spin out of control in 10 years. Bad habits every day, it's disastrous. Bad habits don't show their horrible results at the end of the first day. It's easy to get faked out. They're so subtle, they get you a little off course, and all of a sudden you're caught. So you've got the choice right now of one of two easies. Easy to do, or easy not to do. I found something easy I could do that led to fortune, and I did not neglect to do it. And if you don't take care of neglect, it becomes an infection, and then it becomes a disease. Doing all it takes. That's the first benefit of positive reinforcement, building good habits. Now, the second benefit of positive reinforcement is that it creates the energy to fuel additional achievement. How easy is it to get up in the morning when you know you're not doing all that it takes? It's not very easy at all. Now, how easy is it to get up in the morning when you're pouring it on, doing the best you can? It's a whole different story. When you're resting to renew your reserves, it's much different than resting to avoid your day. When you're excited for what you've planned to accomplish for the day, it's amazing. You'll wake up before the alarm clock even tries to startle you awake. Your successes pave the way for more successes. It's the snowball effect. And pretty soon, the disciplines that were so difficult in the beginning are now part of your philosophy. Earn the most you possibly can. Be the most you possibly can. And here's why. The essence of life is growth. And here's what's interesting. Humans are the only life form that will do less than they possibly can. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. Trees send their roots down as deep as possible. Produce every leaf possible and every fruit possible. Now, why wouldn't human beings strive to their maximum possibility? Here's why. Because we've been given the dignity of choice. And here's the choice: to become part of what we could be, or to become all that we can be. My best advice for you is to choose the all. See as much as possible, do as much as possible, make as much fortune as possible. I'm telling you, once I got on track, I've never looked back. Pick up the challenge, go for it. It's easy to have financial freedom. The more you do, the more you get.
I recommend money. Anybody that told you that money different about money is because they don't have none. But you got to quit listening to people that ain't got money tell you about money. Money don't change people. Money allows you to be more of who you really are.
You can donate to causes that you believe in. It alleviates a lot of stress in your life. You become debt-free. I can tell you it's a good feeling. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves.
Every day in 1,000 different ways, we are trying to improve ourselves by learning how to do things. Now, if knowledge is power, if knowledge is the forerunner to success, then why do we fall short of our objectives, settling for a life of existence rather than a life of substance? While there may be many answers to this question, the fundamental answer is the absence of discipline. Self-discipline. Consistent self-discipline. It doesn't really matter how smart you are or how much you know if you don't use it. It doesn't really matter if you attended every seminar that comes to town if you don't apply what you've learned. Apply our knowledge, study the results, refine our approach. Finally, our knowledge will inevitably produce worthy results. Pretty soon, we'll find that we're swept into a spiral of achievement, a vertical rise to success. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of discipline, self-discipline. It takes consistent self-discipline to master the art of setting goals, to master the art of leadership. It takes a consistent effort to truly manage our valuable time, or we'll be consistently frustrated. It takes discipline to conquer the nagging voices in our minds, the fear of failure, the fear of poverty. It takes discipline to keep trying when that nagging voice within us brings up the possibility of failure. The voice of the human ego speaks to all of us. Sometimes the voice of ego says that we should magnify our value beyond our results. It takes discipline to be totally honest, both with ourselves and with others. Every exaggeration of the truth, once detected by others, destroys our credibility. They'll always think we exaggerate, and they'll never quite hold us in the same regard again. It takes discipline to change a habit, because habits are formed a little bit each day, every day, every day. It takes discipline to plan. It takes discipline to execute our plan. And it takes discipline to change either our plan or our method of executing that plan if the results are poor. It takes discipline to ponder the value of someone else's opinion when our pride and our arrogance leads us to believe that we are the only ones with the answers. Discipline is an awareness of the constant need for action and a conscious act to implement that action. Now, here's the other side of discipline. If there's considerable time that passes between the moment of awareness and the time of our implementation, then that is called procrastination. The voice within us says, get it done. Discipline then says, do it now. Procrastination says later, tomorrow, whenever I get a chance. Do what is necessary to get by or to impress others. In every circumstance we face, we are constantly presented with these two choices. Do it now or do it later. A choice between a disciplined existence bearing the fruit of achievement and contentment or procrastination. The rewards for the lack of discipline are immediate, but they are minor in comparison to the immeasurable rewards of consistent self-discipline. For most, we choose today's pleasure rather than tomorrow's fortune. So how can you get rid of the easy distractions? How can you keep an attitude of doing it all and doing it now? How can you stay focused on your ambitions? You've got to really work on your consistent self-discipline on a daily basis, or you'll find yourself distracted. Distracted by negative people, distracted by your doubts within yourself. Never underestimate the power of influence. And associations. Now let's take a closer look at discipline. First, true discipline is not the easiest option. Most people would rather sleep until 10 o'clock than get up at 6. Trying is always easier than doing. It's easier not to read. It's easier to turn on the television than to open a book. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we didn't have to do these things? What do you suppose would become of us? You're right. Not much. The system we live in and contribute to is designed to make the easiest things in life the most unprofitable. Our world is and always will be a constant battle between the life of ease and a life of discipline. Choose one or the other, but both will have their price, the price of discipline or the price of regret. The first lesson of discipline is that it isn't the easiest option. The second lesson of discipline is that it's a full-time activity. You see, the discipline that it takes to make your bed every day is the same discipline necessary for success in the world of business. If we're disciplined in just one area and lazy in another, guess what? Pretty soon, the lazy side will creep in and destroy the disciplined side. Consistency cannot be inconsistent. We tell our kids that the TV is rotting their minds, yet we spend our evenings in front of it. Do as I say, not as I do. This is inconsistent. The only thing worse than one who is inconsistent in applying their self-imposed disciplines is one who has never considered the need or the value of discipline at all. These people seem to wander aimlessly, leaving behind a trail of broken friendships, unfinished projects, and unfulfilled promises. Here's the third step to becoming consistently self-disciplined. Number 3 simply says, for every disciplined effort, there is a multiple reward. It's an extension of the biblical law that says if you sow well, you reap well. Not only does it suggest that we'll all reap what we've sown, it also suggests that we'll reap much more. For every disciplined effort, a multiple reward. What a concept. If you render unique service, your reward will be multiplied. If you give more than you expect to receive, your reward is more than you expect. Everything of value requires care and attention. Everything of value requires discipline. Likewise, our thoughts require discipline. We must set up our inner boundaries, or our thoughts will be confused, and confused thoughts produce confused results. And with confused thoughts, we'll end up being confused. Perhaps you're on the brink of giving up, and the only missing ingredient to your incredible success story in the future is a new and self-imposed discipline. The most valuable form of discipline is the one that you impose on yourself. The life of each one of us is going to serve as either a warning or an example. A warning of the consequences of neglect, or an example of talent put to use.
And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What greatness that you showed up to bring, that you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back? I refuse to die an unlived life.